Okay, I decided that I'm gonna start documenting my long COVID journey. And I'm not looking for pity. I'm looking to help create awareness and help create awareness for different kinds of groups. First of all, those who don't know what it feels like to have long COVID. And maybe you have family members who just suddenly started getting sick and they don't know they have long COVID, or friends. And also for those who do have long COVID, so maybe that we can start supporting each other with, what works. I'm not looking to have a self-pity party. And those of you who know me, I'm a fighter. And I have a strong will. And I go and try to help myself. But this long COVID thing really, really is tough. It changes your whole life. So today I feel like shit again. I was pretty good for the past week. Had my first treatment, which is a detoxification of my blood. It's basically a blood wash, and it removes inflammatory materials and toxins from your body, because we finally found out about 6 months ago that I have a genetic mutation where my body cannot detox itself. And so somebody like me will always need help to help my body detox. And I can't do it like most people do. It will be too harsh and aggressive on the system. And maybe if you suffer from long COVID, it might be interesting for you to get a genetic test done. They're pretty expensive, but you can also do partial tests. And so what you want to look for is a gene called MTHFR. Like Miriam, MTHFR. The other one that I think is good to look at is called COMT. And just have your doctor check you for that. It seems to be a common denominator among people who end up having long COVID. But anyhow, so today I just woke up with severe muscle ache again, and it just happened overnight. That's how it is. You can have good days, and then suddenly you just have really bad days. It also affects the brain. I mean, there were so many symptoms, and I am writing a blog when I can write. I recently published one which summarizes all my symptoms. But as for the brain, the best way I can describe it, it feels like, imagine those days when you were young and you were really drunk. That's what it feels like, being completely drunk in your brain, having this brain fog, being dizzy, balance. There were moments where I had vertigo. That was very scary. And it gets worse when you look at a screen. So working on a computer has been very, very difficult. And at this point, I only try to work when I have good days. But I am on my own, so I have to work. But I'm working at a very reduced capacity right now. And I just try to do more on days when I can, and other days I just don't work. So this is also very scary from a financial perspective. And a question that people have, like myself, who suffer from long COVID: how much longer is this going to be like this? Is there ever going to be a cure? Because at the beginning, you just start getting unwell. Slowly, you just start feeling worse. And you just think to yourself, well, you're going to get better, just like you got better from a flu. But you don't. It just doesn't improve. And last year was really bad. I was really, really sick last year. This year is much better because 6 months ago we did finally find out that's what it is, long COVID, after we had a particular test done. Another test that I highly recommend if you just find yourself getting sicker and sicker and you just don't improve. It's called SARS-CoV protein spike, IgG, and it measures the protein spike in your blood. I had over 40,000 AUs or mLs. Not sure which way you measure it here, but that's what we tested last December, and that's how we found out I have long COVID after having been sick for a couple of years now. And I started some treatment with medication, which sucks. I don't like to take medication. And then I tested it again 3 months later to see if there was any improvement, and I had the exact same high volume, and some of the symptoms started returning. I was temporarily better after the treatment. I was even able to dance again. But then the symptoms came back. So some of the symptoms. And that's when I just had it. And I remembered this conversation that I had with a doctor in Panama about a detox program where you have to wash your blood. But the quote was insane. They charged 30,000 Swiss francs to do this treatment, and it's just no way. Not to mention that I can barely work, and how I'm going to pay for this. Insurances don't cover any of these treatments. In fact, most insurances don't cover long COVID. In the United States, it's very difficult to get any coverage for long COVID. In Panama, I didn't have insurance yet. I did look into it when I arrived, but then I got so sick that I didn't even qualify anymore. And now that I'm in Switzerland, everything is paid out of pocket. So, yeah, this sucks. Today I have my second treatment, and we'll see how it goes. I'm currently trying to find a clinic here or a doctor that can give me some neural injections today, just because of how I feel today and how I woke up with the pain and the stiffness. Now it's in my spine on the back, where I can barely put my head back or side to side. So that's the thing. You can be fine for some time, but then all of a sudden you feel like shit again. You wake up and I have these traveling pains. They're inconsistent. You never know. Just all of a sudden. 2-3 months ago, I couldn't lift my arm anymore. My whole left arm. Couldn't lift it anymore. Was in so much pain. Ended up in emergency room. They looked at everything. Didn't find much. Did an x-ray. You know how it goes. So, other times I have severe pain over my shoulder blades. Recently I had it up my neck, between my shoulders and my head on my right side. And this one doctor that I found that I've been working with started doing neural injections. So it's injections with, what is it called? I can't remember the term right now. But basically, it's a numbing injection. So they inject it in your mouth, literally here in the back of my throat, and then on the particular areas of my body where I have the pain. So that's a treatment that actually is helping. But again, I have no idea, is that something I have to do for the rest of my life or what's going to happen? So anyhow, I don't know. I think I'm going to make these videos just, for my own self-expression, talking it out, raising awareness, keeping a journey, a documentary. Maybe it will help other people. Also, maybe we can do something together. Maybe as a mass, maybe we can create some sort of impact, whether it's raising funds to help long COVID patients like myself pay for all of this. Maybe we can create some sort of change with insurance companies, with the government. We're going to need help. This we're not going to be able to tackle on an individual level. So I don't know. Today I'm just rambling a little bit. Maybe down the road I have a little bit more structure to my videos, but we'll see. I'm gonna have to leave now and do my second treatment of the plasma blood detoxification wash. So long for now.